In this video, we walk through 10 essential algebra questions for the digital SAT step by step. We'll focus on the key concepts and efficient algebraic methods, and when Desmos can save us time, I'll show you how to use it. Let's get started. Let's start with the number 1. We are given the equation 3 times kx plus 13 is equal to 48 over 17x plus 36. Here, k is a constant. The question states that the equation has no solution and we need to find value k. We can think of this equation as setting two linear functions equal to each other. Before we continue, remember this key idea. In y equals mx plus b, m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. If two lines have the same slope but different y-intercepts, they are parallel, which means no solution. First, let's expand left side. 3 times kx plus 13. 3kx plus 39. Let's call this y1. The right side is 48 over 17x plus 36. Let's call this y2. For an equation to have no solution, the two corresponding lines must be parallel. This means that they must have the same slope, but different y-intercepts. So we set their slopes equal to each other. 3k is equal to 48 over 17. So 3k is equal to 48 over 17. Dividing both sides by 3, 48 divided by 3 is 16. So the value k is equal to 16 over 17. Let's quickly check the y-intercepts to confirm they are different. y1 had y-intercept 39, y2 has y-intercept 36. Since 39 is not equal to 36, the lines are parallel and distinct. So the equation has no solution. And that's our answer. Value k is 16 over 17. Question number 2. We are given the equation 5 minus 7 times quantity 2 minus 4x is equal to 16 minus 8 times quantity 2 minus 4x. The question asks for the value of 2 minus 4x, not x itself. Notice the repeated expression 2 minus 4x on both sides. Instead of expanding everything, we can treat the 2 minus 4x as a single quantity. Let's rearrange the equation. Let's move negative 8 times 2 minus 4x to the left. So 8 times 2 minus 4x minus 7 times 2 minus 4x. Let's move 5 to the right. So this gives us 16 minus 5. On the left side, combining like terms, 8 times 2 minus 4x minus 7 times 2 minus 4x gives 1 times 2 minus 4x. Or simply 2 minus 4x. On the right side, 16 minus 5 is 11. So we have 2 minus 4x is equal to 11. So that's our final answer, 11. Question number 3, the cost of renting a backhoe for up to 10 days is $270 for the first day and $135 for each additional day. Which equation gives total cost y for x days? Let's set up the equation for total cost y. The base fee for the first day is $270. Plus, for additional days, be careful, the total number of days is x. Since the first day is already covered by $270 fee, the number of additional days is x minus 1, not x. So additional charge is 135 times x minus 1. Now let's expand and simplify. Y equals 270 plus 135 x minus 135. Combining constant terms, 270 minus 135 is equal to 135. So 135x plus 135. So we get y equals 135x plus 135, which corresponds to choice D. Question number 4. The function f of x is defined as 19 more than 4 times a number x. If y equals f of x is grabbed in the xy plane, what is the best interpretation of the x-intercept? First, write the function f of x is equal to, so 19 more than 4 times a number x. So this is 4x plus 19. X-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. At that point, y equals 0, so fx equals 0. Set fx equals 0, 0 equals 4x plus 19. Solve for x. So 4x is equal to negative 19. Therefore, the value of x is x equals negative 19 over 4. So the x-intercept means that f of x is equal to 0. The number x is negative 19 over 4. Let's analyze the answer choices. Choice A, correct. When fx equals 0, the number is negative 19 over 4. Choice B, this is a y-intercept since x equals 0, fx equals 19. Choice C, this describes a slope of 1 over 4, which is incorrect. Choice D, this describes a slope of 4, not the x-intercept. Therefore, choice A is the best interpretation. Question number 5, line P is defined by the equation 4y plus 8x equals 6. Line R is perpendicular to line P in the xy plane. What is the slope of line R? First, let's find the slope of line P by converting it into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, B is the y-intercept. So 4y plus 8x is equal to 6. Subtract 8x from both sides. 4y is equal to 6 minus 8x. Divide both sides by 4. Y equals negative 8 over 4, negative 2x. 6 over 4, 3 over 2. So slope of line P is negative 2. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. This means that product of two slopes must be negative 1. To find the slope of line R, take the negative reciprocal of negative 2. Flip negative 2 to get negative 1/2 and change sign to positive. So the slope of line R is 1 over 2. Let's take a look at the next problem. The graph of 7x plus 2y is equal to negative 31 has an x-intercept at a comma 0 and y-intercept at 0 comma b. What is the value of b over a? First, let's find the x-intercept a by setting y equals 0. Substituting 0 for y gives 7x is equal to negative 31. So the value of a is equal to negative 31 over 7. Next, let's find the y-intercept by setting x equals 0. Substituting 0 for x gives 2y is equal to negative 31. The value b is equal to negative 31 over 2. Now we need to calculate the ratio of B over A. Be careful with the order here, it's B over A. Plugging in our values, value B is negative 31 over 2 divided by value of A, negative 31 over 7. To simplify this fraction, we can rewrite as multiplication by the reciprocal. So negative 31 over 2 times negative 7 over 31. The two negative signs cancels out to be positive, and 31 cancels out from numerator and denominator. This leaves us with 7 over 2, which corresponds to choice D. Question 7. This is another no solution question, but this time with a system of equations. In the given system of equations, h is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of h? Notice that both equations are linear. For system of linear equations to have no solution, the two lines must be parallel, which means they have the same slope but different y-intercepts. Let's convert both equations into slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b to find their slopes. Starting with the first equation, 4x minus 9y is equal to 9y plus 5. Subtract 9y from both sides. So this gives us 4x minus 18y is equal to 5. Subtract 4x from both sides. This gives negative 18y is equal to negative 4x plus 5. Divide each term by negative 18. So y equals negative 4 over negative 18 is 2 over 9. So 2 over 9x minus 5 over 18. So the slope of the first line is 2 over 9. Now look at the second line. Equation hy is equal to 2 plus 4x. Dividing both sides by h. So y equals 4 over hx plus 2 over h. So the slope of the second line is 4 over h. Since the lines are parallel, set their slopes equals 2 over 9 is equal to 4 over h. Using cross multiplication, 2h is equal to 4 times 9, 36. So h equals 18. Therefore, choice D is the correct answer. Let me show you a useful Desmos shortcut for this problem. First, enter both equations exactly as they are. Add a slider for h. Instead of dragging the slider, use the answer choices. Try them one by one. Negative 9, 0, 9, and 18. When h equals 18, the two lines become parallel. So for a multiple choice question, this can be a very fast way to confirm choice D. But here's the important part. What if this were a student-produced response question with no answer choices? Then guessing values with a slider would not be very practical. Remember question 1, where the answer choice was 16 over 17? A value like that would be very difficult to find by trial and error. That's why you still need to know the algebra. So here's the takeaway. Use the answer choices with Desmos when it saves time, but know the algebra for questions where you have to produce the answer yourself. Question 8. This is a mixture problem that can be modeled with a system. A sample alloy has total mass of 50 grams and is a 50% silicon. It was created by combining a 30% silicon alloy and an 80% silicon alloy. What was the mass of silicon in the second piece? Let X be the total mass of the first piece and Y be the total mass of the second piece. First, the combined mass of two pieces is 50 grams, so X plus Y is equal to 50. Next, set up an equation for the amount of silicon. The first piece was 30% silicon and the second piece was 80% silicon. So the first piece contributes 0.3 x gram of silicon and second contribute 0.8 y grams of silicon. Since the final 50 grams sample is a 50% silicon, the total mass of silicon is 25 grams. So 0.3x plus 0.8y is equal to 25. Now, we have a system of linear equations. Rather than solving by hand, entering these into Desmos is much faster. Enter these equations into Desmos. Looking at the intersection point, we get 30, 20, meaning x equals 30, y equals 20. So x equals 30 and y is equals 20. Be careful, the question asks for the mass of silicon in the second piece, not the total mass of the second piece. So y equals 20 is not the final answer. Since the second piece is 80% silicon, the mass of silicon in the second piece is 20 times 0.8, which is 16 grams. So the mass of silicon in the second piece is 16 grams, which corresponds to choice B. Question 9. A team plans to sell at least 140 tickets before the event and at least 220 tickets during the event to raise at least $5,820 in total. We are given that X represents the ticket price during the event. The problem states that the price during the event is $3 less than the price before the event. Since X represents ticket price during the event, the ticket price before the event is X plus 3. So set up the revenue from the tickets sold before the event is 140 times X plus 3 plus. The revenue from tickets sold during the event is 220X. Remember, at least means greater than or equal to. So because the team wants to raise at least $5,820, the total revenue must be greater than equal to 5,820. So this matches choice B. Question 10. Which point x, y is a solution to the system of inequalities y is less than equal to x plus 7 and y is greater than equal to negative 2x minus 1. You could plug each point into both inequalities, but that takes more time. So instead, let me show you a faster way using Desmos. First, grab y is less than equal to x plus 7. This shows everything below the line. Then grab y is greater than or equal to -2x minus 1. This shows everything above the line. The solution set is the overlapping shaded region. In this case, we can also combine the two inequalities into one compound inequality. Y is greater than or equal to -2x minus 1, so y is greater than or equal to -2x minus 1, but less than or equal to x plus 7. You can type this directly into Desmos and it will immediately shade solution region. Next, add a table and enter the four answer choices as points. -14, 0, 0, -14, 0, 14, and 14, 0. Three of the points are outside the shaded region, while 14, 0 is inside. Therefore, choice D is the correct answer. These are the key ideas from today's 10 essential algebra questions. Master the concept, watch the structure, and use Desmos when it saves time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.